in mining activities in Nigeria, and that was actually done by Akintayo David Ajani, who actually gave a very interesting presentation on that. Today also, we are going to be looking at another interesting topic that will also actually centered on the critical minerals. And all of us understand what the essence of critical minerals now, the role of critical minerals in clean energy transition. Now, we are also trying to look at, having understood the essence of these critical minerals, what is the assessing, how can we assess it in terms of the demand that is actually increasing day by day and ensuring supply. So all of us will be looking at this, and will also be bringing our various contributions to this. The issue of the transition to clean energy is a global imperative to combat climate change and reduce reliance on fossil fuels. This has been, the talk of the globe now. This transition heavily actually depends on critical minerals, which are essential components of renewable energy technologies, just like the electric vehicles and energy storage systems. Ensuring a stable supply of these critical minerals is very crucial for the successful clean energy transition. So today we'll also be looking at assessing the roles of critical minerals to clean energy transition. We'll evaluate the current trends and we'll look at the demand trends, and possibly most of us will need to provide recommendations to secure the supply chains. So this is a platform for solution providers. We need to provide, look at the burning issues and see how we can talk about it. So I think the major objective of today's discussion will be centered is to aim to provide a comprehensive analysis of the role of critical minerals in the clean energy transition. We have to assess the demands of these minerals, explore the challenges actually associated with their supply chain, and we offer recommendations to ensure possible stable and sustainable supply. Based on our knowledge on what is actually going on in Nigeria, we'll also look at what are the demands, where can we also, what can we do to see that what we have are well harnessed. So today we'll also be looking at that. Before we go on, as usual, it's been our tradition for the sake of some of the people that are actually joining us for the first time. This platform is being organized by Initiative Advancement in Mining, Earth Sciences, and Environmental Protection, IMSF. It is a non-governmental organization, mainly composed of people that have actually volunteered themselves from their wealth of experiences, practicing geoscientists, entrepreneurs, mining engineers, business, all manner of professionals to bring a common focus, dedication, foster knowledge, and awareness of Nigerian geology mineral resources to everyone. Mainly our targets are the young ones coming up, the educators, the investors, and even the general public. The vision has been to ensure professionalism through fostering awareness of Nigerian geology and mineral resources at different levels to bridge the existing gaps among relevant stakeholders, while we still uphold the global practice. So that is who we are, and that is the essence of this platform. We need to, Dr. Fadela, I can see you are there. Can you please, I don't know, Dr. Mrs. Salau is far away on a conference. I'm not sure I've been able to reach her out of the country. And the opening remark, Dr. Fadele, possibly you have to give that opening remark on our behalf. If you can join us later, then Dr. Amuda, possibly, I've not seen Dr. Amuda on the platform. Before that, I need to also welcome some people here who have been consistent. They've contributed a lot to this platform. I can see Patrick or Diego on the platform. I can see Engineer Benjamin. I can see Dr. Abu on the platform also. Dr. Nando is here. So please, I welcome all of you. And some other people are joining as the time clocks on. So Dr. Fadele, please, can you quickly just give us a 30 seconds opening remark? Then before we'll bring in the presenters.
Thank you so much, sir. Very quickly, just like Engineer Gideon has said, we want to specially welcome us to this series for the month of, although it's supposed to be September, but we are observing it this month as a result of what you have said. A lot of things, a lot of program in the month of September. But however, I want to let us know that every moment or a meeting set up like this is for us to learn, come, interact, and share our knowledge in the mineral and mining, system where we find ourselves. Just like we know that the IMC per se is an NGO that is saddled primarily, to identify it's a system set up primarily to bring in all different professionals from different fields, in order to promote our mineral resource governance and how to properly manage them and conserve them. And it's a system or a body that have different departments operating, having different functions, managing our titles. We have a system like that in terms of programs like this, like monthly webinar. We have a department like that for the mineral governance. We also have sets of people that manages that. I would want us to sit back to enjoy today's teaching. It's very, very important. We know we are in a system where all what we think about is the critical minerals, which is in vague now, and that is the lithium and other, RE, rare earth elements, that has zero, emission to the ozone layer due to the clamoring for climate change here and there. So I would want us to sit back and listen to the presenter, who is well grounded in this field. Is an expert, although not have one-on-one contact, but for Engineer Gideon to bring her on board, she must have been tested and tried and find, very competent in handling the subject of discussion today. So I would want us to pick up our pen, listen attentively, and at the end of the day, if we have contributions, if we have questions, if we have areas where we need clarification, additions, please let's make that known to us so that we can share knowledge in a time like this. Thank you so much.
Dr. Fadele, thank you for that brief opening remark. We are going to be bringing our lead presenter today is Chidinma Hero. He's joining us from United Kingdom. Chidinma has been one of us, and she has done some critical works on green energy and transition for sustainable environment. Also, we have some other discussants. So what we're going to do is that she's going to give us a kind of a 30 minutes quick presentation of this topic. Then other discussants will also come on board and try to put in their own ideas on some areas. Then the next thing will be contributions from all every other person that have actually joined. Then we entertain questions, then answers. Then we'll have our closing remark. Chidinma is a geologist with some years of experience in the mining and oil industry. Then went into sustainable, where she's currently a consultant with Cyrog Enterprise and guest lectures. She had experience with just transitioning circular economy and community development, and is a co-founder of Tesside Coalition Network. and a mining policy network. She's also a tanker of the Center for Environmental Change and Human Reliance, where she facilitates, organized, managed, and participated in international conferences with delegates from over 50 countries, example of that of 2017. She also collaborated further with other co-authors, transforming knowledge systems for life on Earth, how to get there. So Chidima is well experienced and versatile in these aspects. And if I want to read everything about Chidima today, we might not actually go on what we want to do. The second person who will be also discussing, I think we're going to bring on about discussion. The discussant is Mwafa Mitchell, and the third person is Indian Dr. Gunleti XY. So right now, we will bring Chidima on board to first of all, in the next 30 minutes, run through this presentation. Chidima, do you want to share your slide, or do I share from here? I can give you authority to share.
Okay, I think you can go ahead and share from your end. That's absolutely fine. So that way, don't disrupt us. Go really great, man.
Okay. Let me see if I can share from here. Okay. I think this is where we are.
Oh, okay. All right. Hi, everyone. I'm happy to be on board to discuss this interesting topic again. I have presented before, and it's always very impacting on me to be on this forum at any time, either presenting, either in the meeting, or seeing all the wonderful works that is being done even at the schools on ground and all that. So today we'll be talking about the role of critical minerals in clean energy transition, assessing demand and ensuring supply. As we already know, or it will be a quick, so the outline is going to follow the part of an introduction. I'll delve into what critical minerals are, demand and supply in clean energy, and I'll speak about the various trends and then the challenges, and then how sources can be diversified to the various point of recommendations. So at the very onset, I would start by saying that we all already know from previous discussions what critical minerals are, but I can still reiterate it to say they're important economic metals and non-metals in the energy supply chain to transition to net zero. And also, energy systems powered by clean energy technologies differ profoundly from one followed by traditional hydrocarbon resources. As we already know, the world is moving towards clean energy systems now, and we're all trying to diversify our resources and move away from hydrocarbon. The energy sector is set to emerge as a major force in driving demand growth for many minerals, as all batteries, solar panels, wind turbines, and networks are deployed. Dozens of countries and many leading companies have announced plans to bring their emission down to net zero by around middle of this century. And there's a strengthening linkage between minerals and clean energy technologies. Then again, we already know, for instance, a typical electric car requires 6 times the mineral inputs of a conventional car, and vice versa. You can also see that with things like the wind plant as well. Okay, I will go to the next slide, which will talk about minerals and selected clean energy technologies. An example of this sorts of minerals and how they are being in the various sectors. So for the transport sector, looking at an electric car, which is a typical example of where critical minerals are being applied, we can see Can you hear me now? It went off for a bit. Hello, can you hear me now? Okay, right, I'll continue. So seeing from the screen, minerals in the transport sector, for example, electrical car, we can see that a lot of minerals are used to develop electric cars, and you see less of these minerals in the conventional car. So for instance, electric car, you can see copper is up to 50 kilograms, and then we can also see nickel is up to 100, and we can see lithium and vice versa getting up to 200 kilograms. Whereas in the conventional car, you just need little of that quantity. So it's basically we need a lot of critical minerals when developing clean. So we can see that when we look at the offshore wind, onshore wind, we can see solar PV, and then comparing it to conventional ones like coal, which requires very little of this critical minerals. So ensuring a sustainable supply of these critical minerals for clean and inclusive energy transition is very paramount. The next slide, please. Okay, so critical minerals and clean energy. The types of mineral resources used vary by technology. Lithium, as we've already seen in previous slides, nickel, cobalt, manganese, phosphate, zinc, graphite, critical minerals are all found in Nigeria. So we are very rich in these minerals. Electrical vehicles and battery storage account for about half of the mineral demand growth from clean energy technologies over the next 2 decades, spurred by surging demand for battery materials. Electricity networks need a huge amount of copper and aluminium, with copper being a cornerstone for all electricity-related technologies. So in essence, it's just trying to say that we need, then again, reiterating what I've already previously spoken about, that there's a huge amount of these critical minerals needed in various sectors. Electricity needs a huge amount of these minerals. So we would definitely be needing these minerals from Nigeria in the system. So we'll have to now look for how we'll go about it in a very sustainable manner. Electrical vehicles versus conventional car. Minerals used in electrical cars compared to conventional cars. Then again, we can also see this is in kilogram. For typical electrical car, we need a lot of these critical minerals, copper, lithium, nickel, manganese, cobalt. We can see that the ranges are high, reaching to 200 kilograms, whereas in a conventional car, we just used 2 of these minerals, which is copper and lithium. There was no cobalt or manganese and the rest. So in essence, the demand for these minerals are still going to be very high, and it's going to be highly required. Okay, I think I'll go to the next slide now. The share of clean energy technologies in total demand for selected minerals. Then this is just trying to show in the various scenarios how the minerals have progressively increased in demand. So from what we can see, demand from other sectors was assessed using historical consumption, relevant activity drivers, and the derived material intensity. Neodymium demand is used as an indicative for rare earths elements. Then stated policy scenarios, which is what STEPS stands for, is an indication of where the energy system is heading based on a sector-by-sector analysis of today's policies and policy announcements. Then we have the SDS, which is the Sustainable Development Scenario, indicating what would be required in a trajectory consistent with meeting with the Paris Agreement goals. This source is from the International Energy. And what we can see here is, if you look at the graph from the first one, where my cursor is pointing, 2010, the demand for lithium was not that high, but progressively, when we got to 2020, we can see it changing, and the demand for lithium got up to about 30%. And in the energy scenario for stated policies, we can see it that by 2040, the demand is going to get up to about 75%. And also another policy in another scenario, which is the SDS, Sustainable Development Scenario, is getting up almost up to 100%, so around about 90%. And the same thing with cobalt, we can see at 2010, it was literally, that was when it was still being discovered that clean energy was within the new trend. But as of 2020, the demand increased then again, and we can see it in other scenarios, 2040 for STIPs and SDS, same as nickel, copper, and rare earth elements. And so the demand is going to be progressive, and it's going to be high up to 2040. And these scenarios can also go up to even 2050 because there have been recent ones added as well. Okay, the next slide, please. Demand for critical minerals. The market for materials necessary for electric vehicles, wind turbines, solar panels, and similar technologies has doubled in size in the 5 years through 2022 to USD to 320 billion. From 2017 to 2022, the demand for lithium has tripled, while nickel and cobalt demand increased by 40 and 70% respectively. There will be a continuous increase in clean energy deployment in recent years, or the continuous increase in this deployment has led to significant rise in demand for critical minerals. China, however, which is one of the power countries, accounts for 85 to 90% of global rare earth elements mined to metal refining, and refines 68% of the world's cobalt and 65% of nickel and 60% of lithium of the grade needed for electric vehicle batteries. Okay, I'll go to the next. This really depicts the picture of what the demand for critical minerals are. Then mineral demand for clean energy technologies will rise by at least 4 times by 2040 to meet climate goals, with particularly high growth for electrical vehicle related minerals. So there'll be a huge amount of minerals required, especially for the electric vehicle technologies. So mineral demand for clean energy technologies by scenario, this is going by scenario now. The growth to 2040 by sector, we can see that for this particular sector, which is the solar PV, in 2020, which is solar PV is one of myself. For the solar PV is actually one of the technologies. Rather, you have the wind, you have other low carbon power generations, you have EVs and battery storage, electricity networks, and hydrogen. In 2020, the demand was not that high. It was getting up to 9 MT, which is million tons. And in the next scenario, which is the SDS, it's quadrupled, which is by 4 times, getting to almost 30 millitons. By net zero of 2030 scenario, this would be 6 times what the demand actually would be now, and that's going to up to 45 millitons. So seeing the solar PV, the wind, other carbon power generations, EVs and battery storage, hydrogen and electricity networks. Then the next scenario, growth of selected minerals in the SDGs 2040 relative to 2020, we can see lithium. Then again, the index growth kept getting higher from what we can see on the graph, getting to 42. That of graphite is 25, cobalt is 21, nickel is 19 and 7, and rare earth elements is 7. So lithium has the highest index growth, and so therefore and as we already know, Nigeria has a lot of lithium, so we should think about sustainable ways of getting this so that we can also be maybe a power country, if possible. But yeah, the demand for lithium will be the highest compared to the other critical minerals. Okay, we would go over to the next slide, please. The challenges that the supply chain network, so companies face when they're transitioning to net zero, either through not being able to meet up with demand on one way or the other. We can see that the energy transition and the race to reach net zero emissions are creating a surge in demand for critical minerals. The demand for the vast quantities of critical minerals and raw materials that will power the global economy of the future will need to be mined sustainably to meet up with the rising demand. The high geographical concentration of critical minerals in countries like the Democratic Republic of Congo also implies higher geopolitical risks due to state-led non-market interventions such as trade restrictions or capitalizing on the economic vulnerability of countries to meet geopolitical goals. So these are supply chain challenges. And we know that these challenges differ from country to country. Our own Nigeria specifically is we don't even have data at all. So having data would really help to kind of ascertain people who want to invest to even know what quantities are, how they can go about the investment, what methods that they can use and all that. Next slide, please. Okay, examples of critical minerals used in advanced other technologies other than what we've already discussed. In the aviation, we can see niobium, tantalum, vanadium. The national defense sector, chromium, gallium, scandium. Wind turbines, aluminium, rare earth elements. Then battery storage, you have cobalt, graphite, lithium, manganese. Solar panels, arsenic, germanium, indium, tellurium. And this are what what it shows for the future. But however, what is being mined in terms of the raw materials are also country dependent. And look at what we cannot just have an indication of what those minerals look like to the right. So raw material production and when it's being refined is the next one, metal refinery, the various ores that it gets into. Then this is manufacturing stage. So you see it now goes to lithium manganate, lithium nickel, cobalt, manganese. So when you amalgamate some of them, then lithium cobalt acid battery, lithium iron phosphate battery. So these are various acronym names that you can get up to. And then this is the end use where you see the wind power, and you have new energy vehicles, the computer. These are the various what it means by end use is when all this have gone through all these phases and processes, it now goes into being used for these various equipments. You can use it for tablets, printers, aircraft, and then the new energy vehicles like the electrical vehicles that we've already discussed. Then the lithium battery use supply chain. This is just reiterating what we've already discussed, what DOE means, and then vehicle technology office. Various offices where you can actually also have access to what these minerals distributions are talking about. And then we're almost getting to the very end. So ensuring supply will mean we need to diversify our sources for meeting with demand. So building new mines is one way, and expanding existing supply of materials quickly. So key solutions to this is accelerating permitting time scales, increasing output from existing mines, updating geological surveys, and improving international data sharing. And that would be very good if we can even work on having this particular one. The initiative can even start from us, which is IMSEP. We are an NGO, but however, we are trying to also develop policies. So having us starting with this particular data will be very good. And I'm sure it's something we can work towards. Then building more diverse and secure supply, companies and countries should seek to build more geographically diverse supply chains, sustainable and responsible material production. Mining companies need to adopt best-in-class practices driven by strong regulations on carbon intensity and environmental impacts, increased use of voluntary standards and supply chain. So there's so many voluntary standards now, even on the sustainable development standards, on the sustainable development goals, which is on the global stage. There are various standards now that are being employed. But obviously, in our country, we still because our regulations are not that strong yet, and we have a lot of artisan miners. So to actually get to this particular phase, we first of all need to build our fundamentals, which is creating data. And I believe IAMSEP as an organization, we can do this. There should also be traceability, and as this can increase monitoring and transparency, then reducing pressure on primary supply, strong action to accelerate technology development, improve materials efficiency, and increase recycling could reduce cumulative demand from 20 to 60% by 2050 for most materials. As we already know, recycling is a very important component of sustainability. And most of these materials, most of this clean energy minerals, these critical minerals are very easy to recycle. So which is what makes it good. It's not like the conventional style where it's not recyclable. Once that particular consumption gets to its end point, that's the end. You need to get more of the material. So in order to reduce the demand of us always going back to Mother Earth to get these materials, the good thing about these critical minerals is that they are recyclable. So when it gets to the end use, you can also recycle them. Okay, next slide, please. Ensuring supply, as we're just talking about recycling. So it's just describing what recycling is. By reclaiming critical minerals from e-waste and mining tailings, we can reduce society's reliance on mining, reduce our impact on natural resources, that's having to always go to dig up more resources, which is finite. Circular economy model is the effort to recover still viable critical minerals from existing products through the make, use, recycle model, which is typical of what the circular economy model is trying to instill. It's trying to say that, you make use of a particular resource. After that, it gets to the mode where you can actually recycle it and put it back into the system. And then when you now integrate them into commerce via a reverse supply chain, rather than solely extracting new minerals from the mines, it also saves the earth from any further harm to it, and also reduces our contribution to the climate change issues going on now. In the International Energy Agency estimates that by 2040, recycled copper, lithium, nickel, and cobalt from spent batteries alone could provide for 10% of the demand for these minerals. The Worldwide Wildlife Fund says recycling could potentially supply 20% of total mineral demand between 2022 and 2050. Next slide, please. So ensuring supply, this is the technological innovation side, with the improvement of exploration technologies and equipment brought by technological innovation, more new mineral resources can be discovered, which greatly increases the supply potential. So obviously, we need these minerals. We need to be able to explore them. So we need technology. Yes, we want to try to introduce things like circular concepts, like circular economy, but at the moment where we are in Nigeria, for instance, we need to also grow our economic side. So we need, you can't just overlook that the economy needs growing. So we need to explore these minerals. So we'll have to keep exploring until we get to a point where we can gradually now introduce circular economy, because the locals need to feed. So we can't then again wipe away as much as we're saying artisanals need to go in, then again, they are probably trying to also get their primary economic resource. And this is probably the ways that they can do it. But however, if strict regulations come into play, and these other people are being provided for adequately, then we can adopt the circular economy model with ease. But it's just trying to say that we need to explore and we need technologies for this to happen. Then the use of smart mines in mining critical metals, which requires remote operation through ICT, not only ensures the safety of workers, but also enables utilization of more resources with complex geological conditions. For the smelting industries, ICT enables more intelligent machines to replace workers, greatly improving production efficiency. ICT helps to build a circular business model for waste recycling, enabling more scrap metals to be found and recycled. Next slide, please. Minerals used in various energy technologies. Again, we're talking about the minerals in quantities, which is kilogram. We can also see, this is from the OECD, that minerals in technologies compared to other power generation sources, we can see that the offshore wind requires a lot of copper, a lot of zinc, a lot of manganese, chromium, just as, it's getting up to 15,000 kilograms. And we can see that with onshore wind as well, solar PV, but going down to nuclear, coal, natural gas, we can see that the quantities of these minerals are reducing significantly. So for coal, you see it's reduced. For natural gas, the same thing. Copper is significantly low, getting almost to 0 kilograms. Next slide, please. So legislations and policies. In response to the pressing need to ensure secure mineral supplies, there has been a proliferation of policy initiatives over the past few years, including landmark measures such as the European Union's Battery Regulation and Critical Raw Materials Act, the US Inflation Reduction Act, the Australia's Critical Minerals Strategy, Canada's Critical Minerals Strategy, Chile's National Mineral Policy. Next slide, please. Then recommendations and conclusions. I'm sure you'll be happy to know that we've come to the end. And mineral wealth can, if exploited responsibly, contribute to public revenue and provide economic livelihoods for many. However, if poorly managed, mineral development can lead to a myriad of negative consequences, improving the investment climate for mining companies, streamlining permitting process, providing tax incentives, and guaranteeing property rights, developing the capacity to process and refine critical minerals locally, then to capture more value from these resources. Countries are now investing in developing, processing, and refining facilities. Promoting regional cooperation. This includes developing common standards for mining and processing and sharing information on investment opportunities in Africa. Thank you very much.
Chidima, that was a very wonderful performance there. I want to thank you for that quick and succinct presentation, straight to the facts, to what we want to know and what we want to do. At this point in time, we want to please note down your questions, your contributions. We have to come to you on that. I'm also seeing some questions already. But this time we need to quickly go to a few of our discussants because this is we're going to be having some of the discussions on around this. It's clear that there are a lot of questions that are actually coming on this. We have to discuss, and also that we'll handle some issues, some questions that are actually arising from these critical minerals. We've been able to gather some questions, and we want some of the discussants to just talk about them before the general platform. Maybe right now we will be calling on, we'll be calling on Mitchell Onye He's an accomplished environmental management professional with about 16 years of distinguished performance in the solid mineral industry. She's also a trained geologist with MSc in Environmental Resources Management and a director and a co-founder of Chalion and Trebgi companies, and also Trebka Minerals Limited. This is a geological firm that offers some services in various areas of exploration, logistics, or trading and mining. And she has actually developed a private-based career in mineral exploration. She's also a HSC coordinator of the IMSF organization. And she has also developed some, some projects when it comes to mineral tenement management and some exploration projects also. She is a certified project management professional, PMP, and also a member of Nigeria Mining Sciences, and also a member of Council of Nigeria Mining Engineers and Scientists. I think, Mitchell, you will need to, there are two things we want you to look at here. You do have that question raised, the two questions you are supposed to address. Okay, I can unmute you now. Maybe, can you unmute yourself? Okay, I don't think you can unmute yourself. Let me allow you to unmute yourself. I'm looking for your name here. Okay, I've seen it. You can unmute yourself now. Try it. Can you?
Yes, I can. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Okay, I want to commend the speaker, Chidema. She did justice to the topic. It's the trending topic in the world today. Everyone is thinking of reducing carbon emission to zero. Most of the countries in the world are working on that. So it's a topic that Nigeria really needs to work on. When she was discussing, I didn't even know that we had so many, apart from lithium, we have so many other minerals that are even important that we neglect in Nigeria. So it's something that our government agencies and our leaders need to look into. So you are talking about the questions. Are you going to ask those questions, or you want
there
me
are
to
two
just
questions you have that you need to deal with already sent to? Where are they? First one. Yeah, you can go on. The platform is yours. You can go on. I don't need to.
The first question is, I was asked, is what are the primary drivers behind the increasing demand for critical minerals, and how do global clean energy goals factor into this demand? You know that the reason why so many countries are talking about going for clean energy is because of the Paris Agreement that was held in 2015. An agreement between so many nations in the world, so many countries, about 196 countries came together and said that they want to reduce the emission of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. You must agree with me that recently we'll be having different kind of climate changes. In our country, Nigeria, we know that our rainy season usually starts, let's say, from March or from April. But recently, we're having rain starting, like this year, rain started from June, seriously, here in Abuja. And until now, even until this morning, we still had rain, which is not something that used to happen before. So the climate change is really telling on the climate of the world in various, we'll be having stories of so much flooding. I think in New York, sometime last week, we had flooding. So many things are not, the way they used to be. And one of the reasons is because of the emissions. So many of the countries have been using coal. They've been using coal for their power generation. And you know that if coal emits a lot of methane, and methane is one of the greenhouse gases that affects the atmosphere, which countries are now working on to reduce. So venturing into clean energies, one of the ways that countries of the world can, reduce this carbon emission. But in another situation we're having now is that we need more of these critical minerals to produce, let's say, let me use the example of electric car. If you remember when the speaker was talking, we had over 200 a kilogram or so of different minerals needed to produce an electric car. Meanwhile, the conventional car, like let's say a Toyota Corolla vehicle now that uses fossil fuel, you need just about I think I saw copper and I think manganese. Those are the two minerals that are used. But for an electric vehicle, you need your lithium, you need graphite, you need nickel, and extracting these minerals from the environment it tells on the environment. You need more of it for one vehicle. Then now everyone, like I think UK or so, one of these countries have given a mandate that everybody by 2030 or so, you have to stop using fossil fuels. And you need times 10 of what you used to produce before to produce just one electric vehicles. How do you now meet up with the demand for all, the citizens in a
Mitchell, sorry for interrupting you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly where I'm coming from, because I want us to deepen this topic. I want some of the critical questions. That's actually where I wanted the second question I wanted to bring to your attention. Because we've talked about these minerals, talked about them, but we have challenges in the sense that could you elaborate on the challenges that are associated with this supply chain of critical minerals? Because especially regarding geographic concentrations and vulnerabilities. These are the major, because minerals are there and all that. I want you to actually deepen on just in the next 2 minutes, tell us some of the challenges.
For the challenges we're having in terms of the geographical concentration of minerals, we know that cobalt, which is one of the critical minerals needed for making lithium batteries for energy storage, is concentrated in Democratic Republic of Congo. And if you read history, you know that region, DRC, is a kind of place that is always having cases of war. They're having a lot of political issues. So imagine 75% of the world supply of cobalt is coming from one country. That is a problem, because anything they can decide that we're not supplying, the price is affected. They can decide, okay, nobody comes into our country, So it's really a big problem. That is why different countries need to work on, developing new areas of, discovering new mineral resources in the country. Let's say in Nigeria now, we are looking at lithium more in the basement, the pegmatite zones. But we know that in urban massive, there are some traces of pegmatite there. We've not really done studies because, due to some certain situations, we've not really studied the pegmatites in the urban massive to know if it even contains this lithium that we need. So you see that we need to do a lot of exploration, need to acquire more data to get new areas. The earth is so large, we've not explored even 1/3 of what we need to explore. So more work needs to be done by various countries to discover many of these critical minerals within their country.
Okay. I think I will, at that juncture, I will thank you for your contribution to this topic, Mitchell. I want to go over to Engineer Dr. Aguleti. I think he is on the platform. Engineer YX Aguleti. Are you there? He's the MD and CEO of Asilong Nigeria Limited, and also a founder of Edulong Digital School of Mines and Geosciences, Abuja. He's a versatile person and well experienced over 15 years in this industry. Engineer Doctor, are you there? Please, I have 2 questions for you that I want you to also, just in a few minutes, deal with. The first one would be the strategies you think we can employ to diversify sources. Are there strategies to diversify sources of critical minerals? And what benefit do you think maybe the diversification brings to this clean energy transition? That is the one. Then the second question would be, in what ways can we recycle and the circular economy be integrated into this critical mineral supply chain? What are the environmental and economic advantages of these practices if actually we are able to do this? So these are the two things I have for you to just run within the next 2-3 minutes. Thank you. Okay, yeah, I will unmute you now. You can unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you very much, Dion. And a very good afternoon to the listener. And let me say a very good presentation by the presenter. Actually, I must tender my apology that I found myself in an environment where the tweeting and I couldn't listen all through the presentation. But of course, I was able to join at the last minute. But of course, because I'm aware of the discussion, I'll make my contribution solely on that. Yeah, the issue of critical minerals. First, we must understand the formation of these minerals, and when the global economic society place them on critical, means that they are rare and they are not just easy to come by, and hence they are being critical. Again, they are critical because of their geologic formation being not widespread and constrained not only in the geographical location, but even in quantity. So because of this, um, for as much as the world have interest to reduce carbon emission and to increase the clean energy, but we must be aware that these minerals are quite not widespread. Just as Ms. Michelle rightly said, that for you to use a car with these critical minerals, you need a lot of them because you are letting go the fossil fuel. So the first thing is what is leading to the question of supply. So again, recently, especially in Nigeria, in the area of iron supply, you've discovered that the supply for iron for making steel, has gone beyond mining the raw iron and processed to steel. Rather, you now have a recycling of metals. But I'll quickly say that in as much as yes, this has helped to have some sort of a clean environment, but of course it's challenging because now the scavengers can as such, go through your houses and attempt to get these, metals for them to go and sell for those industry who uses them to produce steel. But again, personally, I have discovered that recently the steel being made into the economy now seems to have sort of integrity approval in terms of strength. And of course, when you go to, you understand the bonding of these minerals in nature as compared to the artificial bonding of these metals. So because of that, you may not be having a very good production of this steel, especially where you operate in an area where the standards are not being checked. So we will be having an issue in that aspect. But not to talk much of that, in terms of the supply, for you to have a recycled critical metals, then it must have been that these metals had once been mined and used, then you cannot have them to be recycled. Otherwise, you are going to have what you have a polysynthetic minerals, which of course would have been done in the laboratory and may not pass for a use for this purpose. So it should be in our mind that these critical minerals, if you are not sourcing them naturally and you are attempting to look at it in the recycled manner, then you must be aware that they must have been used possibly to produce a battery before. Then you can now recycle them just as it's done in the metal, the steel, industry now. But you see, beyond this, politically, if we ask ourselves in Nigeria that if 100% of critical metals is needed in the world, do Nigeria use 1% of it? So areas where you have this mineral being mined are not directly gaining from it. So the world wants to use clean energy, but you rely your source from areas where they are not having direct use of it. We have different versions of either Africa is ripe enough to start talking about clean energy. But of course, for as much as we want to key into the global society, yes, we will agree. But when we are looking at ourselves and where we are, then we must, know that we have not come this far like the other part of, the world. So for me, I think for as much as we want to go into the clean energy, we should utilize what we have, at least to some extent. We have coal, for example, in the country, but believe me, we have not used this coal justly, at least for the production of electricity and other things. So, but of course, that we should go forward. But again, going back to the supply of these critical metals, we should know that and bear it in mind that these metals are not widespread. They are highly, constrained. Like I said, not just to a geographical location, but constrained in quantity. So we must play the politics of making sure that the little that we have is mined and used by us and not, be carried away with the source of income by selling to the outer world. So that is the little I would like to say about the aspect of sourcing, for the critical metal, either through nature or through recycling. Thank you.
Okay, engineer, thank you very much. I think there are some questions which I think I will direct to you, but let me see what you have on that. I saw a question on the platform, and the question is saying, he said, my question beforehand is that what is the replaceable energy for heavy duty vehicles? For heavy duty vehicles, how could excavator combustive engine be replaced in a greener energy given the same amount of horsepower and efficiency? That is what the person says. So he's looking for an alternative for our heavy, because we know that some of these heavy duty equipment actually contribute to high emissions to the atmosphere. So I think this question has a close relationship to what you are explaining. What do you think about this?
Okay. Permit me to say most of what I want to say limited to Africa and Nigeria in particular. Just like in the presentation we had sometimes in Kefi, that I say that none is impossible. Don't be surprised that tomorrow we'll be generating electricity directly from water in your house. Research is what we should, bend our neck to be doing. Recently, I stumbled, just for the first time, I stumbled at a generator using gas. Little do I know that it has been in the system for some times, but I didn't know. But it was so interesting that now you can use gas, directly, to your generator. But you know what? Somebody sat down and look at the stroke engine and look at the combustion compartment of this generator and see that you can develop an equipment that can directly convert gas to this electricity. So this is what we should be looking at. So if you have been using diesel to power your excavator, can we sit down and look at the engine and see if there are areas where gas can be effective in this? So if what I'm saying in essence is that if somebody can sit down, think about using gas to power generator, but believe me, then I think nothing that cannot be done. What we need is the area of education and research if you're an electrical engineer student, if you're a mechanical engineer student, let us come together and see the areas of challenges and see how we can go about it. We should not be scared of trying something. Let us go there and do something. And of course, the person who has the question will be shocked at the result. That if you have been having an inkling about using another source of power to drive your excavator, then look at it. Somebody is bringing forward the solution to it. After all, that is what engineering is all about. Once there's a problem, we will attempt to see how we can solve it. But all of us must be our hand on desk and see if there are areas that we can come in. My advocacy is that whatever we see, whatever we do, we should think of Nigeria first, think of Africa first. Because if you continue talking about critical metals, and no matter where the critical metal is, believe me, they will come get you and they will take it. Just like Michelle said in DRC, once you have this critical metal there, this is a global politics in mining or in mineral source. They will come for you because they need it. So, but of course, in as much as they need it, let us begin to think of how we use it ourselves. And I think that's an area that we really need a massive, a push for it in this country. If you talk about critical mineral, talk about lithium. Can you use the lithium to yourself? This is what we should be looking at, so that we can place ourselves high. Even when they are coming to buy from us, then we can sit down on the table and dictate what amount and how much we want to sell for them. All of us need it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. I think that what we are saying is very, very true. Before now, nobody knew that there is something like EV vehicles, and that's actually what pushed this thing. So I believe that in terms of heavy vehicles, there are alternatives that are actually possible. The issue is that everything is still on the pipeline. There are even issue of hybrid electric system can combine electric motor with that of our normal traditional engine, which can also be fueled by biofossils or even low carbon alternatives. This system can also improve fuel efficiency and thereby reducing emissions. Even the issue of battery electric wasn't actually existing. Natural gas can also do that, like what you said. But biofossils can also do that. So it's all about trying to replace and work on the existing engine, and some of these things I think they're very possible. But thank you for that, your wonderful contribution. I'll now open a platform for people that will have some other questions. Please raise your hands if you have some question or contribution, so that then please you can also submit your email address on the message platform, so that we can also send. So right now, please, if you have some contributions, generally, let's look at them and your questions. I don't know how many people have raised their hands. I'm trying to pick. Okay. Okay, Mitchell, you can. I saw your hand. You can come up.
Okay, one of the things I wanted to add to what Engineer Abuleti said is that, one of the things countries are working on is making sure that this, especially lithium ores, are now broken down, to, we don't just sell out the ores to other countries, and then establishment of beneficiation plants in the country. And Nigeria, I think, I read something, is it last week, the minister was saying something about this. So I think is one of the ways that we can make sure that we benefit from this critical mineral technology, make sure that the revenue generated by other countries, like China now has one of the highest quantity of critical minerals, and they produce the end products of these critical minerals. So they are like benefiting from it more than even the countries that have these minerals. So if we work towards making sure that these things are used here in our country, in Nigeria, I think it's one of the ways we can, enjoy the benefits of the critical minerals.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I also want to, Patrick, before I come to you, let me say this before I forget. I think there are three top issues that, for me, I believe from what I've seen, that are actually peculiar with us in Nigeria. Three top issues we need to deal with when it comes to supply and every mineral, except in every mineral and this of the critical mineral, the demand is actually increasing. Three top issues. that we are advocating that our government and every other person will need to come together to start talking about and us to deal with. Three, number one is the issue of the data, issue of data gathering, issue of data acquisition in terms of these critical minerals. And secondly is the issue of community, community issues and government interferences between the government will all what I will say call a kind of a very clear understanding and a very clear relationship between the federal and the state, the local government among these, those government policies, the interferences. These are issues. Then the third one is the security issues. These are the three top issues that is actually affecting supply and everything that has to do with minerals. So if you don't have security, is a big issue. There are some locations I've not actually gone the past 7 years now, and I'm not dreaming of going there, So you can see it's a big problem when it comes to that. Then secondly, the issue of our data. We don't have any data, especially when this new advancement where we're making now critical minerals. I think these three issues, we need to actually look at them. Then please, okay, let's go to Patrick. Patrick, you can ask or make your contribution.
Yeah, thank you very much. Are you hearing me? Am I audible?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you clearly.
Okay, beautiful. I must congratulate you once more for bringing this very crucial information to Nigerians. And I think the lead presenter did a very fantastic job. Her presentation was very clear, precise, and concise. Some of us actually got one or two things from that. Thank you for that. The moderators, Ashilong, Aguleti, and our one and only Michelle, all the points raised are absolutely critical. Now, to my submission, I think over time, we've allowed ourselves to be a country that just looking at money. We are just looking at money without really dissecting and interrogating money. Money, what are you? How do we see money? Do we see money as a resource that will be used to increase the value of an average Nigerian? That's a key question that we'll have to find a way to answer. Because by the time we answer this question, we will really come down and start putting the right measures that will get things done. You did mention security. You did mention village community management, right? I capitalize all of this in deep understanding of value. You don't come to somebody's backyard, start digging up a large hole, and then leaving the person holding a large hole behind after you've taken the mineral. And there is no life changing. There is nothing really you can lay your hands as a value to that community. You're wasting your time. So the national objective has to be very clear. The dichotomy between the state, the local government, and federal government. It's only mad people that do this. There should not be any dichotomy. There should be development. Whether it's federal government that give license, the local community should be in the know, because at the end of the day, a fool and his money can get easily parted. Now, down to the critical point. We're talking of lithium, and we're seeing how other nations are consuming lithium. We are mining, some miners have been very fortunate. They're collecting this money and they are singing hallelujah. But the question still remains, are we taking the value chain through its natural course that brings real value domicile in Nigeria? This is a key question. If we don't, a lot of Nigerians, my wife just told me this morning that a professor is working in a care home in London. He's working in a care home. A professor in Nigeria is working in a care home in London. And I'm saying, who did this to us? Who did this to us? So we need to come down to the real brass tag and ask the right question. Critical mineral, I did see zinc being mentioned, right?
Zinc is there.
Is there?
Zinc is there. Yes, zinc is there.
Yes. Zinc is there. So this is the one I want to talk about. You know, people, when they're chasing El Dorado, I don't follow them. I do the one that I know how to do. And I'm quite comfortable with it, right? Nigeria must stop. Oh, lithium
that's where, sorry, Patrick, to cut you. That's actually where, that's actually where I wanted us to actually dwell in. You know, when we're talking about this critical mineral lithium and all that, some of the critical minerals we have in Nigeria, zinc is there. Most people don't think about, mostly they think about lithium and all that. Because even silicon, do you know your quartz you are throwing away now? Time is coming, you are going to see what I'm saying. You see the quartz, the white quartz, everybody doesn't look at now. Time is coming that when you are going to look at them, because the issue is that there are other associated accessories when it comes to production of all this. You understand? It doesn't just take lithium and all that. The graphites are there, the zinc are there, the manganese, the silicon are there, you know. And like these are where we have strengths. Let's forget about, we might not have much strength in terms of cobalt or in terms of nickel or in terms of copper because we are within the craton, you know. So I think our geology at least give us that grades for rock pegmatites, for sulfide minerals like the lead and the zinc, and maybe that of a couple of few graphites and all that. So I think we also need to develop all those values.
In conclusion, right, I see that our country is so blessed. I heard the minister mention 50% derivable from solid mineral. He doesn't even know how to count. 50% is as if we are not even serious. If we want, we can go 80%. But before you do 1%, you must meet that ambition with the reality of one, security has to be provided. Two, and when you mention security, it has to be clear security, not security vote that people now transfer the money into the account and start buying properties in Abuja. Two, you need to talk about how do you mine at scale. That simply means that you need to go and do exploration. Now, if you're doing exploration, you need to do exploration that is benchmarked. You've done one and you're following to the next one, right? I'm seeing things that I didn't even believe that we have. Just by coming down, forget this money, calm down, do the work. And when we start doing the work, we're not seeing things that we say, oh, what am I saying? We're seeing thickness of over 20 meters, thickness from zero level to 40 meters. We're seeing mineralized thickness of over 20 meters. For an area where people are saying that we don't have barite. Meanwhile, we're importing barite into this country. Meanwhile, there are things, low-hanging fruit, that we are not even touching, we are not even consuming. Who did this to us? So if we want to get it right, we must really come and ask ourselves the clear question. It's a privilege to be born in Nigeria. Yesterday, I raised my flag. People were like, hey, Nigeria is not working. I said, you are not working because Nigeria is our country. Did I pay anybody to be a Nigerian? Naturally, I was born in Nigeria, right? So we have responsibility to make Nigeria the best country in the world. And for us to do this, we must completely come down and interact with the system, challenge the system, question the system, and demand that the system should meet our aspiration. And then when we get it, we'll give it back to the next person. Because at the end of the day, none of us know when we are going to leave. And if we are going to leave, if I see anybody want to put 1 naira inside my grave, I will come out and start fighting. On a serious note, we have zinc, we have lead. Lead is very critical. I didn't see anybody mention lead. And I'm thinking that there's a fraud there. Because if you have a lithium battery car, there must be lead also, because it will power either the starting of the vehicle or some other components in the vehicle. So there are 2 batteries that's always there in that vehicle. But they don't talk about lead because they're picking most of the lead from Africa, right? And when they come to Africa, they will be asking us for 60%, 70%. There was one Chinese man and nearly 14 with physical fight. I said, look, in your country, what do you mine? You mine 5%, you mine 4%, 6%, 7%. If you see 10%, it has to be a world-class news. But our mines here, we're talking of 20%. You come and be asking us for 60%.
Exactly.
How are we going to give you that? We're asking us to do illegal mining because there must be spheres of influence in your mining area, right? You can't deplete your high grade, giving it to a Chinese man because he's giving you money. What money? So our system need to wake up. Our financial institution need to come to this class and use their own ear to hear. Because when they come, they will tell you, oh, mining is risky. Mining is risky. If you get out from your bed and you don't look well, is that not risky? Will you not end up in hospital? So let me leave it at that.
Okay, thank you, Patrick. I have something else for you. I want you to just quickly round it off with it. What do you think will be a recommendation for government, actions, for industrial collaboration to secure this supply? of critical minerals for clean energy, if we are talking about clean energy transition? What do you think will be your recommendation for government actions?
Thank you very much.
Clear and direct.
This question is a very, very important question. Nigerians must drop their I, me, and whatever group of company. No, forget it. We must collaborate. And collaboration has to happen from the point of truth. The problem is that people don't understand the value of truth. Truth is that I have 2% zinc, right? And you have capacity to upgrade that 2% to 50%. We work together. I don't need to replicate your effort, right? I don't need to. All we need to do is to set up a system with logistic system that is going to come to the mine, take the product, take it to your yard, and everything is transparently done. I'm setting up a CCTV because I say money, not the loss. All these things that we'll be doing in Nigeria. No, we will give you a guarantee that this product that you're seeing, we are doing drilling now to blast, right? And the blasting, the area that we are going to drill and blast, I'm saying that in this material here, there will be 30-40% lead zinc combined. First of all, I will take it to my friends. Christopher is one of them. I say, Christopher, please, this product here, please analyze it for me. Tell me what it is. Complete analysis that is 100% accurate. So that even if you like, come from the moon, pick sample, it will still give you the same thing. We must operate from that point of truth, which increases the confidence, and which then you can now make money and start changing the environment. You mentioned silica. There is no, in fact, I'm just watching. I'm interested in silica because we have a huge silica deposit. This thing that we are going to China, importing things we can make in Nigeria, who did this to us? We need to wake up, and some of us are willing and ready to remove all the signatures. What we want is to see development. You come to the community that you think is a bush, and then all of a sudden, you see something like Otta. You know, we live in faith. When they went to Otta, they went to village, and they've transformed it. That is what that speaks to my spirit. That is what we must do in Nigeria. Deliberately, we must put Nigeria first. Because this thing, we have the best country in the world, and we are using our own hands to kill it by using the opportunity to give Chinese what they have not earned. Give to is Indian. An Indian man will come to Nigeria and tell me he's a white man. Ah, Jesus. Okay.
Okay, Patrick, to buttress your points, let me tell you that why I should tell you Nigeria is so blessed in such a way that most of the time we don't really know. You know, in this issue of lithium, you see Chinese will come and be telling you 3%, I don't take it, 2.5, it gives you some of things and all that. Do you know that the best, at least in Africa now, 10 projects have been identified that in terms of, you know, the newest lithium, the top, let me just say the top lithium mines now in Africa. Talk about the project of Zimbabwe, that of South Africa, you know, the tantalum project in South Africa, the Blacksburg lithium. Then you talk about the Mali, talk about the Ghana, you talk about the Namibia and all that. Do you know that if you talk about all those things, in terms of Mali, you're talking about their project, you're looking at about 1.38% of lithium oxide. Ghana is about 1.25%. Another one, no one is up to 3% lithium oxide. But here, you can see clearly direct surface sample giving you about 2.5%, 3.5%, you know. And like what Engineer Agleti have actually said, I think the most important thing is we need to see how we can actually come to make use of this ourselves. We are not actually disadvantaged. Frank Adamu, please, I will need you to, okay, he's raising your hand. Let's have your, okay, I think you're allowed now. You can you talk?
Yeah, good. Yeah, good afternoon, everyone.
Okay, please, Frank, I think this is the first time I'm seeing the name. Where are you joining us from, please?
I'm joining from Lagos.
Okay, thank you.
I'm joining from Lekki, Lagos.
Okay.
My name is Frank Adamu.
Okay.
I want to start by saying I commend you guys for this meeting. This meeting has been in my spirit for many years. Okay. And I think maybe I prayed it into being.
Okay.
In all honesty, this is the way forward. But just to put some flesh to what everybody has said, I think we need to generate an association first.
Okay.
We need to create an association. You don't need to wait until everybody come. within the way we are. Within the way we are. Let's create an association. Listen, our problem is lack of one voice. That is why the Chinese man does us anyhow. That is why everybody do us anyhow. We lack unity in voice. We don't speak the same. Now, my brother, please, I don't have time for too much English. I just want to give action points.
Okay.
One is, let's create an association starting from now.
Okay.
Let's create an association starting from now. Put the modalities of what makes you to become a member of this association. Number two, as I've listened to everybody, the few people, I didn't come in very early, but I've listened to the few people that have spoken. I can see some level of transparency in the hearts of men and women here. So number two is, let's put up some funds together and set up a site, a website. Now, listen, nobody comes into Nigeria to mine a pin without going online to check. Let's become the online machineries these guys will meet. Let's create an online presence. You're asking what would the government do? Let's create an online presence. Let's form our contract templates. Enough of these people coming with their own template of contracts, telling us what they don't have. And they want us to go and bring it from hellfire. Enough of it. Let's create our templates of each contract. We know what are deposits in our land. And let's tell them, in this side of the land, in this side of this country, this is what you will get. These are the specifications of the lead. This is what you will get. If you are asking for anything outside this contract template, you are not our client. Go and find who will bring it for you.
Great.
Let's create our contract template. We already know what we have. Let's magnify what we have. Let's make it of value. I am from Borno State, Maiduguri. My mom is from Enugu State. My dad is from Borno State, Maiduguri. I'm a Bama boy. So I know what we have. I started mining as a laborer. I didn't do it. I didn't study it anywhere. I was one of the people carrying kaya everywhere until God opened my path. So the bottom line I want to make here is, we create an association, number one. We create a website. Number two, we create our contract template for every single item we have. And we don't create it to meet anybody's expectation. No. We create it according to the real deposit of what we have. And then we give it the value it should have. Our site should carry all our price templates. We give it the value it should have. We defend what we have.
Great.
Enough of this talk. Let's put action. Create this association, create the finance, put a budget, put our timeline. Let's go.
Great.
So when see us moving in this direction and see us, they will fall in line because everybody wants what works.
Exactly. Frank, thank you for that wonderful contribution.
I want to meet you guys one-on-one physically. I look forward to for us to create the association. I look forward, let's go register it. Whatever the fund requirement will be, I am ready to contribute whatever I can contribute to make my own path work. Let's have a budget. Let's have a short-time budget, a medium-time budget, and a long-time budget. When we do this, we will get the attention of the government in the right direction. Our government don't know what we have, and they don't know how to use what we have. We are the ones to help them, show them how to use it. I love what the young man I just spoke last said. Forget about the money. You forget about the money and create value. The money will come. These guys come and talk to us the way they talk to us because they can see disunity among us. There is no even one single group that has one voice. That's why we get what we get. So now that the government are nipping them on the areas where they thought they had voice, now we need to quickly work fast and put all our modalities online, you will see what will happen in a very short time. Listen, in the land where everybody is a blind man, a eye man is a king. The few we know is enough to start channeling our. And remember something. They call our people that we have IDP camps everywhere. That's not IDP camps. Those people are manpower. They just don't have knowledge. If we can tell them what to do, how to do what to do, nobody wants to kill himself. Who won't go carry bomb blowing? Nobody wants. Now, when you know get value, when you know see anything where your life worth, that's when somebody will tell you, come and carry gun and do this, and you do it. Let's give our people value. It's possible. Few radio talks. Let's create radio talk shows. Let's go for it. Let's make ourselves relevant. Give a name to this association that will make it matter.
Great.
So for me, I'm ready.
Okay.
My chairman.
Thank you. Frank Adamu, thank you so much. I think, how did you get to know this platform? This is the first time.
I have been. No. I'm on our miners platform.
Okay.
I saw where you posted it.
Okay.
On the miners platform, and most of the people in the miners platform, even all of them, most of them, they know me in Nasrawa, in Gombe, in Zurak.
Okay. So thank you so much. I've not met with you, but from the way you speak, I can see you speak out of passion. Just like yesterday, I was listening to Honorable Malele of South Africa, and I could see once again a man that has passion, a man that seems to talk from what, because of the way he thinks he's been wounded and all that, and he wants change. And from what you are saying, that is just it. There is no way we can keep talking without action and anything will work. But for me, I believe that miles, even if you want to go 1,000 miles, you need to start from one and start counting.
One step.
One step. That is the essence of this platform. The essence of the platform is to consistently bring people together to form a forum first. From the forum, we harness different interests and different interests from different experiences, diversified in different areas. We'll start coming closer, start coming one. If we have a group, for example, we'll have to start by forming a particular group where we can easily reach everybody. You understand?
Yeah.
From there, we'll start seeing people that, because not everybody in the platform that have the same interest, but some people are here to make sure that the platform doesn't work. Some people are here to make sure that the platform works. Some people are here to make sure that the dream of our country in terms of mineral resources and what we have actually harnessed in the right way. Like I've said, we only started with advocacy. Most of us here have been practicing nobody pays and all that. We've been doing this because of the experiences we've gathered from the industry. And we want to make sure that these things, what we've actually learned from the past years, actually transform into some other ones and will carry on. It's not a one-man's job. So I thank you for that wonderful contribution. Please, everybody in this platform, I think we've done it before, but we need to harness it now. Then from there, we'll graduate. First of all, at every meeting, we usually drop our email and our phone numbers. Then we're going to create a Telegram group, a WhatsApp group. It will be strictly by invitation. We'll send it. If you want, you join. If you don't want, you don't join. So that nobody will say, you forced him into this group, because we want people that are coming volunteer with action. Yeah. You understand? Correct. With action. It's going to be with action, because if you do it into something that, if you don't have the passion for it and all that, we wouldn't get results. So even if we are only 3, we are only 4 or 5 or 10 or whatever, we can move. The voices can be heard, because it's not about saying it. It's about advocating for it. On every month, we advocate for this. And you see people coming in with different ideas, people all over the world are joining, they contribute and all that. And we can make a move with it. Like what you just said, so many people will tell you, bring this, bring that, and it doesn't exist in their country anyway. They will come in here, and it's a politics and it's a tactics. They want to use it to defy you. They want to drop your price down. Exactly. To bring down your price. They will tell you 3%, 4% is useless. And let me tell you, another issue is the issue of trying to reuse it here. I don't see why you should come to a country and take something of 3% and you load it on a ship and you take it away. How many kilometers? 1,000 kilometers away to go and process.
You expect it to be the
same. Over 200 million people living here. The manpower, everything here, and nothing is done about it. So I think like it is it is a diversification of what you said. Unity is what destroys everything. In Europe, there are no borders, but in Africa, there are borders everywhere. Nigeria, Ghana, you want to enter here, you have, so these are the issues of Africa. We really need to start looking at these things from here. Thank you very much. Let me go to Jesse. We don't have much time. Jesse is raising her hand. You see, Dr. Misalau saying that she has actually joined us. But let's, Jesse, please, can you come on board?
Good afternoon, everyone.
Oh, good afternoon, Jesse. Thanks for joining us.
My name is Jean-Claude. Basically, I'm living in DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo. Actually, I am a geologist. I would like just to ask something to confirm. I would like to know if this platform is concerning only Nigerian or is it for everyone? Because I've seen this one on Telegram. It's from Telegram I joined today. That's why I would like to confirm.
No. The platform is for it's not for anybody in Nigeria. No, not only for Nigerians. Yes, it's not for only Nigerians.
Okay.
Yes.
Because it is my first time to meet you, you guys. That's why I would like to confirm before going ahead with whatever I can start talking.
Jesse, my name is NC Gideon. I'm one of the coordinator of this program. You are welcome, and we are happy to have you here.
Okay, thank you very much. Next time, then we can start talking.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Dr. Mrs. Salau, are you there? Please, you can unmute yourself.
I'm still on my way, but I just have to chip in all those things.
On your way from where to where?
I'm on my way from Namibia to Abuja.
Okay, ma'am.
And from all indication, what the last speaker, Adamo, has said is what the African countries are all going with now. That in the conference, we have so many people. In fact, we have even joined, we have formed the quorum. We have formed the international group of young geoscientists to map their mineral resources in line with the 4th and 5th industrial revolution. But what I am saying is that it seems we in Nigeria, we are aloof. We've not prepared for anything like others. Namibia is doing great. Ghana is doing great. Kenya, they've all have followed some inline thing that make people to access them online, which we haven't done. Just like Adamo has said, please, let's put our hands together, our knowledge together, and do something that can speak for himself, not we just shouting. Our actions speaks a lot.
Yeah.
You see, when they see it happening, they will call you. So many people are interested in our mineral resources. Believe you me, don't think you have more than any other person. It's only because those other ones have not done detailed geology like you. When I go to Namibia, I know there's something called geology. And I can tell you that there and there, I have to tell them that they're building on the top of another mineral resources. And they said they didn't know. And I have to tell them and convince them. And we went into the field, and so be it. They've got something. That is what we need to do with interaction, collaboration. The knowledge that is not to one area can be transferred to the other. And that is where we can now say we are ready to move ahead. We are ready to put everything online or whatever. Do you get me?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you very much. We can hear you.
You're welcome. So okay, you're doing great.
Okay,
you're not left behind. Just move on.
Okay, ma'am.
God be with us.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, Patrick. Patrick, quickly, I think you want to say something. Quickly, you can make that.
Yeah. Yes, Frank. Actually, Frank. I don't know where he came from, but wherever he came from, God brought you well. Because the truth is, I don't know. We can't be late this because we know that our people are blessed, but we can no longer we can no longer allow our political leaders. Like he said, in a land of the blind, one-eyed man is a king, and he's correct. So if a blind man tells you that if you don't shut up, he's going to stone you, two things has happened. He has already collected the stone in his hand, or he's stepping on one of the stones that he will use to deliver the blow. If not, now wahala dey.
Yes.
Right. So what we are saying here is two things. We're not drilling to blast, and we're going to blast and produce material. We're going to shock them. We're going to shock them. Now, when we produce this material, they will be expecting me to carry to China. I said, no. Let me see Nigerians that are into this space. Those that have invested money in processing. Can we now sit down together and collaborate? I don't mind if Nigeria cheat me, but I don't want Chinese man to cheat me. We will die here. Now, there are minor minerals I see in indium, right? It's there in the zinc. I see other things. Those other things, we must start making play for those money to start coming. Silver is there. And some other one they call AU, for those, it's not African Union, right? Is there. Is there. Those fraction, by the time you produce volume, you produce 1,000 metric ton, right? Because I'm interested in large scale. Forget all this about small scale mining. You can't change anything. Large scale is what can create new opportunities. That is what I'm interested in. So if we blast and produce maybe, in quote, 1,000 metric ton of material, that inside that 1,000 metric ton, I know there is about 25% lead inside. There's about 5% or thereabout zinc inside. Now we're talking about 30% resource. How about other things? Those other things, we're going to shift them to China, and China is going to pay you only for lead. If you fight hard, they'll pay you for zinc, and then they'll close shop. The silver, God is good, which they don't believe in. The gold, God is fantastic, which they don't believe in. Would they see you as a human being if they know that this is the type of value they're taking out of your asset, which you don't get any money for? Because our financial institutions don't want to know. Our government is not interested because they take money we have not earned, to the extent that NNPC and CBN can go to Afrexim Bank. They went to Afrexim Bank and forward sell our minerals, the oil. They forward sell it. We don't know what these guys are doing because they don't care. At the end of the day, if Nigeria goes to hell, it doesn't bother them. They say they're going to pay 25,000 minimum wage or 35,000, whatever. Is that what is going to make you to go to the market and the market to
bag of rice is, I got to know yesterday, bag of rice is 54,000 or 60,000.
Enter, your ear will clear. So
that is the local one.
We cannot allow these people to run us the way they're running us now. We owe it as a responsibility. In our mining site, we've farmed 12 hectares of Beneseed. It is blossoming. And I'm saying every miner should also do this. We cannot eat mineral unless you are using that as a supplement. We must do mining and we must do agriculture. If we need to die, let all of us die there, right? But we must be able to help this country. We cannot have the paradise and people are coming. Just go to Canada today. You see the cold that is beating our brothers and sisters. Meanwhile, we have paradise that we don't recognize as paradise. I thank all of us.
Please, thank you very much, Patrick. I always like the light in your talks and all that. You are one of the persons that I've seen that with resilience. If I should get at least 30% of what you have, and I'll go places. Sometimes I say I've not seen a human being that can operate in where you are, and it's still very, very comfortable. It's one of the toughest zones, and you're able to break the boundaries and in that locality. I think it's one of the things what we're looking at for most of us. So I thank you so much, and I delight in your contributions always. Thank you very much. Please, if you are here, please drop your email and your phone number before we forget. We're almost rounding off at this. Dr. Muda, is Dr. Muda here? Dr. Muda, I'm not sure Dr. Muda is here. Muda, are you here? Okay. Gleti, are you raising hand? Are you clapping? Which one are you doing? Chumoba, what are you doing? Chumoba, Esther, are you raising your hand? Okay. Please, we just have 15 minutes. So I will just give you 30 seconds. Okay. Okay, let Esther talk first. Esther, are you there? I saw Esther is raising her hand. Gleti, I will come back to you. Just please let me allow another lady to speak. Okay. Okay.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good
Good
afternoon. You're
afternoon,
welcome.
everybody.
Yeah,
I
good
just want to
afternoon.
chip in something on
Okay.
what we are discussing today. So, what I have to say is that we need to prepare curriculum for secondary and university students to align with the new evolution. I think we can still start from there so that the new people coming up, we know where we are going and join in time.
Okay. 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 New curriculum. Okay, that's okay. Thanks for your contribution. Thanks for your contribution. Okay, Madam seems is raising her hands again. Okay. Yes, Engineer, you can talk now. I think you can unmute yourself. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Gideon, for this time again. I have to just deliberately have to speak at this time because I've seen that the waves is really going. First, let me start from my very humble friend Patrick. I've known Patrick for some times now, and I know that he's been doing all he could do in the area of Bayrite. I've seen a lot of his advocacy. I know that the only thing remaining for him now is to look at maybe a minister and begin to expound blow with him. But I think he's doing that in the high spirit to make sure that value is added to Nigeria from whatever we do. I must say at this platform that God will keep strengthening you as you push hard. Let me quickly say that there is a man who was called Nelson Mandela, and I agree to understand that this man stayed in the prison for 27 good years just because he wants to make a point of freedom to his people. I know we are on that path, that we'll be making noise, we'll be doing all we could until freedom is given to us. Incidentally, I had my PhD in copper mineralization somewhere in Anka in Zamfara State. And today, I tell you that there is a company who had been into copper production, who is already making copper wire production. He's already making wire. His wire is in Nigerian, market. He's selling wire already. And this person had made all he could do to have a mine where copper can be mined and, as his raw material to continue the production of copper into the country. I understand that the raw material is using for his copper is either imported or those that have been recycled. But this person had made effort, and I can tell you that today, this guy now have a copper processing plant completed and then launched in this country. But you know what? The government come and say mining is banned in Zamfara. And for almost 4 years now, this guy cannot do anything. Now, my question is that just about a week ago, I was privileged to enter into an NPC again. That's where I served. I know how it was, and now it took me to get interested to that NPC about a week ago. You can look at the presence of security in that place. So the question is, because the federal government had interest in protecting NNPC, so you can bring security to that place. But you see, the government does not have an interest in the production of copper amongst the metals that we have discussed here today as a critical metal. What else critical can we discuss? When somebody, not even the government now, an individual, a Nigerian, had made efforts to spend his money to establish a processing plant, and yet we do not have a government who can deliberately mobilize battalion to cover that mines, to make sure that that mine is productive. It's shameful, and I have to speak because when Adamu begin to speak, I know that sooner we will become the Mandela of this country, where we will now put the destiny into our hands. We know what is going on. Like I said about Patrick, by now, those Chinese guys coming in are not better than Patrick. Most of them just woke up yesterday and start coming into this country. Patrick is here. Nobody is looking at him. Nobody wants to deliberately to make Patrick a billionaire. Is it a crime? If a party become a billionaire, is it a crime? We must, if it is for us to begin to push it to them, our association, with due respect, are not doing anything. Is anything wrong for us to ask for what is beneficial to us or beneficial to us? Is anything wrong if we take placard to ministry and deliberately inform them that there is a company there who would have employed not less than 100 geoscientists and mining engineers, or even those that are not mentioned, value chain down to the downstream, that will be working. What else do we want us to speak? Today, I have my PhD. Is there another thing you want me to learn again? Let's transform our knowledge to money. Let's transform it to value. We must not take the destiny into our hands. It's quite crazy. How can you have a plant and then you are saying that there is a security? Why do we not have security? Why do we have security in this country? If we cannot put the security in those places and make sure that this copper is being mined and use it to produce wire so that I can wire my house. But when they want to wire their house, they go to abroad and go and buy wire. It's shameful. Gideon, I didn't want to speak, but it's emotional when I see people else talking. When Elamu spoke and party continues, you know me, I also know that I speak with emotion. It's quite crazy. What else do you want us to do? Do you want us to bury ourselves alive? Now we are talking about us bringing us. Somebody is doing it already. Those that are doing it, you do not even want to patronize them. And you go ahead, you go to Canada, you go to Indaba, you go to this place, and be asking for investors. Is that man an animal? That person who has invested, who has spent his money to pay a processing plant there, is that an animal? Which investors are you talking about? Let us eat what we have first. Like President said, if we want to die, we'll die here. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, Gideon.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Asilong. Thank you. I can see the emotions on this. You can, if you watched my status yesterday, you could see me carrying a hunter's gun in the bush. It came to that. You know, some people were actually laughing and all that. You could see my picture. I wish I could just say, show you that picture here. You know, but you see, there is no. The most important thing. That's what I said. What are the basic things we are asking the government? We are not even asking too much. We are not asking the issue. We are saying, make these things easy. Give us security. Make sure that we have security in this country. Some of these hinterlands, some of these locations, I could have shown you the bridge. I wish I could show them. I could have shown you the bridge. I got into that location. This place is at the border, Benin and Nigeria. I found out that there are a lot of food there, but the food we are wasting, tomatoes, everything wasting. Why? Because there is they could not even access the town. No vehicle could go in there. We could only use motorcycle. We're on bike for about 25 to 27 kilometers. Toll flow is about 50, 60 kilometers. You understand? You find out that the most important thing that is required for these things to work is not working. You know, security is not, you are asking people to come in. The ones that are here are not secured. How will someone who is not staying here will come in? How do you expect that? Today, dollar is 1,000, whatever. No matter what we do, dollar will still get to 2,000 naira before every one of us. We will see it. We just need to be prepared. There are no magic about it. You are not producing anything. And you are using someone's money to trade. Do you need economics? Do you need any PhD in economics to understand that you need to produce something to sell in order for you to trade? There's nothing about it. Whether you like float it or you don't float it and all that, people are running away from your country because you don't have the right data, you don't have the security, you don't have the right policy,